Come from baseball family and baseball legacy where I can track 100-mile-per-hour fastballs for about 100 years. I wanted to find out what year the curveball was invented. So let's just go ahead and read this. I did a Google search. I am not saying that Google knows everything. I'm just saying that I'm trying to tap into somebody else's mind. Okay, in the 1870s, baseball lore has it that the curveball was invented in the early 1870s by Candy Cummings. It is debatable. An early demonstration of the skew ball or curveball occurred in the Capitoline grounds in Brooklyn in 1870 by Fred Goldsmith. Part 2. When should kids start throwing curveballs? Although co-authoring the studies by Fleesig and Dunn, Dr. James Andrews, renowned orthopedic surgeon and medical director for the Andrews Institute, recommends that youth pitchers refrain from throwing curveballs until they have mastered the fastball and changeup and are at least 14 years old. Okay, I remember practicing my curveball younger than that, and I can see in a perfect world having that attitude. But we're talking about people that throw really hard pitches here. So I did hear that 17-year-olds, I could be wrong about this, that if they have potential to get into further development or scouting or being looked at or whatever, that by 17 they should be throwing 87-mile-per-hour fastballs. So that being said, what is my point of bringing that up? If 17-year-olds can throw 87-mile-per-hour fastballs, then there's no way that 100 and 120 years ago they were throwing less than 87 miles per hour by a long shot. Of course, the amount of people that could throw near 100 back then was very rare, I would assume. We're kind of piecing things together, and I have an interest in figuring this out for some reason, and I'm going to keep piecing it together till I get all the data I need. But I did look at the dead ball era ball, and so even in the 1870s, the ball did look a little bit different with a lemon shape stitching instead of a figure eight. So the figure eight, I believe I saw in the 1890s and 1900s. And then once they got that figure eight stitching, like let's say in 1890, I know a lot of players in 1890 were throwing a lot faster, but at what point did it cross the pitcher's mind to start throwing curveballs, throwing fast, throwing these pitches coming in hot? And I can tell you that they were throwing hot probably in the 1870s. Now, by 1910, even the ball in 1900, 1890s looked very similar with that figure eight shape, the string or yarn, but kind of a string, and that leather around it. And it was pretty much stitched up, looked like by my machine. And so then in 1910, and I'll make a further video about that, just kind of like tying in a little kind of gaming with Forbes Field. But anyway, by 1910 is when they added the cork center. And the cork center is what changed kind of the pop off the bat. So probably my theory or hypothesis is, even though you had that same ball, with these super hot pitches coming in, I think Walter Johnson, didn't he start his career, I'm not Googling this, in 1903 or 1907, 1905, whatever. So these pitches are coming in super, super hot, even like in, let's say, 1903, 1905, with the same stitching, same shape, same size, everything like that. So my theory would be that a guy like Ty Cobb actually should get more credit for not just being kind of a placement hitter, because if he was dealing with the same ball, with the same movement, but he wasn't able to get that pop off the bat because it didn't have the cork center, even though he was playing in dead ball era, he should even get more credit for what he was doing. And so I really think that the dead ball era can be considered full, kind of a full range of everything. I'd like to look into the dead ball era more, but the dead ball era wouldn't have that home run era also because the outfields were still looking different with Forbes Field and stuff like that. So anyway, I don't really see a major difference in dead ball era, which is basically from 1901 or 1900 to 1918, 1919. So that for me, the dead ball era, besides the lack of home runs, you're still gonna have the same amount of difficulty. Anyway, that's my video, and hopefully you guys liked it, and take care.